Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well today. Been a rough start for 2024 here at Titanium Hangar. So many things going on, taking up my time, taking away from doing what I really want to do. But today, I can talk to you about this. It's the concept of collect them all. Now, I did have a video not too long ago talking about why you can't be a completionist. But collect them all is a little bit different when it comes to Masterpiece Transformers. But we're going to talk about Masterpiece Transformers and associate it with a few other toy lines. But for me personally, I have been wrestling with this problem and this concept with 80 different toy lines. I think I'm down to actively only collecting like 25 to 30 right now. I'm putting a lot of it on hold. But we're going to talk about this collect them all with Masterpiece Transformers coming up. So when I think about collect them all, I think of vintage Star Wars. And that's really what got me into collecting. And it really was my number one. Transformers was my number two. And it's funny because Transformers was taking over for Star Wars for a while now. It's been kind of the trend. But with that, it was easy to collect them all when you have a finite number of figures to collect. And this is it. You get a card back here, and you can see it. And it gives you a goal, a checklist, something to look forward to. Fast forward to today, where you could not find a checklist. I can't find anywhere the checklist of what, 1,000 figures they made for Star Wars Black Series, or the 3,800 or 5,000, some weird, crazy number of 4-inch figures they started making since 1995. It's probably 5,000 that they've made since 1995. I don't have them all, and I don't want them all. And when it comes to Black Series, I feel the same way. I do not want to collect them all. It seemed like Hasbro tried to do the same thing with G.I. Joe. Kind of a collect them all mentality. But see, you couldn't. G.I. Joe had like 300 figures from the run from 1982 to 1994. Something along those lines. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's crazy high. But at least you could get all the figures they make in that year. Maybe. Pretty much the same thing with all the modern toy lines. If there were 300 vintage Joes, there's going to be at least 1,000 made. If not, approaching 5,000 down the road in 10 years. But with that, would you want to collect G.I. Joe Classified? Collect them all, even the weird offshoot ones. I know a lot of people that don't want to touch the Tiger Force and the Python Patrol and all that. And for Transformers, it was actually easy to collect them all in the early days. Well, probably not easy because they probably weren't in your store. But you had this, and you would have this checklist, and this is how you figured out what you're still lacking in your collection, what you still needed, what you were missing. And look, it does say up there at the top right, collect them all. This has been something going on for a long time. Who really started it, though? Some people point to Mego for the first to start a collect them all mentality. And then with that, I think Kenner gets the credit for it. But Mego was first. But with Mego doing this, of course, Kenner had to do it. They did it with their Star Wars, they did it with their superpowers. But again, modern day DC or superpowers might actually be harder than you think to collect them all, especially when there's not a finite number of items and it seems continuously to go on forever. Which brings us around to Masterpiece Transformers, which is a much different animal than anything else that's going on out there. First of all, there's not a mainline store or place to go buy these. You have to order them. You can't walk into Walmart or Target, any place to get them. So that does make it special for collecting these. So collecting it all, there's a new obstacle or a barrier. You do have to be comfortable with ordering online, especially if you want to collect Masterpiece, especially if you want to do third party. First problem with Masterpiece, of course, is that there's so many companies. So if you're wanting to collect them all, then it's not possible to collect all the companies. I've talked about this as being a completionist. It's not possible. But just looking at ShowZ's site and getting a quick screenshot of their main page and the main categories, there's at least 20 Masterpiece companies on there. But if you go to, say, TF Source and look under their third party, there's like 50. And there's some that aren't even listed on any of them anymore because they're obsolete and they don't carry any product for it. But with that, it's really hard to collect them all when it comes to a particular toy line, like Transformers. So my suggestion, if you want to collect them all, well, I'll leave my suggestion for what I do at the end, but you could go company specific. I think it's very, very, very common for people to collect Takara, 100% Takara. and go original. And I do know that there are a ton of collectors that do not want to touch third party. I was like that for a while too, but seeing as how there are very organized checklists for everything, it is still going to be hard to go back and get some of the plus versions and some of the older run items. And in fact, Takara Original Official is really hard. So subbing out KOs, can you collect them all and count KOs as part of it? Which I personally don't care. In vintage collecting, I have repro stuff. I don't mind it. And with that, I'm okay with it. But that's probably what you'd have to do to fill this. If you wanted to have a collect them all mentality, but going on to the Transformers Wiki, they have outlined this. This is just a small sampling of what they have outlined, and they break it down also into movie characters, Beast Wars, and all that good stuff. Speaking of Beast Wars, if you say, hey, I'm a Beast Wars collector and I want to collect it all for Beast Wars, well, collecting it all for Takara would be very easy, but now we have trans art in the mix. So if you're a Beast Wars collector, would you collect them all and go and get trans art also? They're doing the trans metal stuff. And then there's the old concept of the Beast Wars stuff should technically be Legend scale, because Beast Wars were that size in comparison to the G1 figures and the G1 characters, especially when you see the ARC episodes, all those kinds of stuff. But with that, are you buying the Legends ones? I think Toy World made some, and there's a couple of different ones that were made in Legend scale. Are you going after those too? So what I see almost as much as Takara, and let's just be honest, probably more now than ever, is collect them all with fans toys. You got fans toys that are trying to be fans toys completionists and all that kind of stuff going on out there. And it is possible. It's going to be hard to go back and get some of the X versions, and even hard right now to still score the Jazz X version that just came out. And 95% of the releases are real easy to get now. They're fairly simple to get. You can pre-order them or just wait till they come out, and nothing's really selling out. But the X version of a fans toys will command a high price and still sell out. Those will be hard to collect, and it's really hard to collect them all if you're late to the game and you missed out on some of this stuff. Now, if you are a fans toys completionist and you want to collect them all with fans toys, the only thing you can't collect them all to is a combiner. But sorry, I had to throw that in there. Should be coming soon, right? Maybe. But hey, it's salted a wound. It's a 5-year-old gaping infected wound. Had to throw some salt on it. Collecting them all with X-Transbots seems to be a little bit easier, but actually that might not be the case because of the fact that they do so many recolors. Already, we've got 2 versions of their big load long haul figure. You've got the toy version, they call it the light, and then you've got the standard one, which, again, I still have no idea why there's a $30 difference between the 2 of those, but there is a $30 difference between the 2 of those, which means I might just finish out mine with the light version. We'll find out when I get them in and do a review on them. But still, you can get your hands on these relatively easily, and you can get both of them right now with very little trouble. Problem with X-Transbots is, if you want to collect them all, you're talking the $110 color variants of everything. Same thing New Age does, where they'll put 6 color variations out of the same character. And that's just something that they do. It's fun, it's interesting, it's exciting, but I really haven't dabbled into much of it. I did get their green version of Arcos. I just had to double check that's right. Their X-Transbots Arcos, the green version. I dabbled into that one because I thought it was really interesting, but I haven't seen any other company make a green version of that character. But with that, you can't really collect them all, or you can, but it would be really hard to catch up at this point and really expensive going forward. It also seems like it's getting harder to collect them all with Seekers. Obviously, the initial 3 Seekers are a little bit easier to get. Coneheads getting a little harder to score a set of Coneheads. But then there's all the different colors under the rainbow. I know Make Toys is making some of those different ones. Takara has made quite a few different color variations in the past, like Acid Storm and them. But it seems like that is all stopped, and the only company making color variations and going forward with Coneheads is Make Toys. They're like the only Seeker game in town, going past the main 3. Now, getting down to what I'm doing when it comes to collecting Masterpiece, as somebody who collects a multitude of different toy lines, I collect well, 81 toy lines is kind of how many I have, and I'm trying to display all of those. That's why it's tough for me. But when it comes to Masterpiece Transformers, I'm not buying everything that comes out. I'm not buying every single release. I'm getting pretty much most of the fans' toys and all the fans' toys, all the Takara, and a lot of the X-Transbots that are coming out. But I'm also more excited, though, about different characters, such as what's going on with Spike. Now, I do have the Blue Lobster, which is a PVC figure. You know, getting new characters, that's always fun. And is it a collect-it-all mentality? Well, it kind of actually is, in my opinion. In my mind, I'm collecting all characters from G1, and I'm buying all of the ones that are new to me and different to me. Yes, Fans Toys is putting a replacement figure out that we're going to... I already have it. Do I really need it? Is it a little bit better and you're paying a couple $100? I mean, that's always a situation. And yes, even X-Transbots is putting another figure out. I already have it, but is it going to look better than what we got from Fans Toys? But with that, that's really not my collect-it-all mentality. My collect-it-all mentality goes back to these new characters when we're getting them, and are we going to get all of them from G1? So I'm going back to that rumor that collecting Fans Toys is collecting it all for G1, because there's a rumor that Fans Toys is going to make every character from G1, from the G1 cartoon. If they were in the G1 cartoon, then they will make every character. And I'm guessing they're going with the US base, because Fans Toys really isn't doing a whole lot with like the Japanese headmasters or anything like that. But still, it's quite interesting if they really do accomplish that. So that means that if you collect Fans Toys only, then you're more of a collect-them-all collector than, say, Takara. Now, Takara is still chugging along and making more figures. We're going to see this hoist pretty soon. I think some people might have already gotten it. I don't know. But with that, they still aren't dialing out all the Dinobots. They still aren't doing it all. So if you're a Takara-only collector, you may never, ever get to collect them all, which is sad. They really should do a whole lot more. But anyhow you slice it, collecting Masterpiece is still fun and exciting, and it's still always something special when I get a new one to check out, a new Masterpiece Transformer. It's always fun, and it's always exciting. And it does seem like fewer and far between, less Masterpiece releases, so that makes it actually a little bit more special every time you get one. So let me know what you think about this collectible mentality in the comments below. Do you see where I'm going with collecting it all? Are you collecting it all, or are you just happy with what you got? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Tell your hanger out.